Hey guys, it's Shadow the Rat, and for today's video, I want to introduce you to Meatball. So this little chunk here is Meatball. He is a rat that I found outside, like I said in the title of this video. Now basically the backstory for him is that someone in my area posted in a local rat group that they saw him living under the grease trap next to the restaurant they worked at. And they wanted to know if he was a domestic rat or a wild rat. And as you can see here, he is very much a domestic rat. Now, I did have a few people ask how you can tell if a rat is domestic or not if you see them outside. General rule of thumb, if they aren't agouti, and agouti is the tricolored brown that wild rats come in. But anyways, if they aren't agouti Berkshire, which would be agouti with a white belly, or agouti self, which would be agouti with a agouti belly, then they are a domestic rat because wild rats only come in those two colors. And any other color you see is simply the result of selective breeding for domestic rats. And of course you can find some albino wild rats, however they are very prone to dying, well, at a younger age because of their coloration. So if you see a pink-eyed white rat outside, it's likely also domestic. Anyways, on Tuesday morning, I went out and I got this guy here. He was indeed living under the grease trap. That's exactly where he was when I found him. And I basically brought one of my rat's carriers with me and some meat baby food in order to try and catch him. And when I first offered him some meat baby food off a little cap, he took the cap. I mean, he literally grabbed the cap and dragged it under the grease trap, so that didn't work too well. So then I asked my mom, who was with me, if she could go get some sticks so we could herd him into the carrier, and that's exactly what we did. And once we got him into the carrier, then he was pretty docile. He didn't really try to struggle too much. In fact, he was pretty chill with humans. Even when we saw him outside, he just didn't want to leave the safety of the grease trap, or the relative safety. I mean, he was just kind of under the cover, so he didn't want to come out into the open, which is understandable, especially for a prey animal like rats. But anyways, once we got him, we brought him home, and he was all gross, of course, so I gave him a bath, and then I treated him with Revolution, which is a parasite medication. It just goes on the outside of their skin, and that was just preventative measures. I wanted to make sure that he didn't have any parasites that he would bring to my other rats. I've set him up in the top part of my cage, and I've also given him, of course, lots of fresh food and water. I also gave him a water bowl in case he didn't know how to use the water bottles, but he does indeed know how to use those, which makes me think that he may have been a released college pet because I live in a college town, and when people are here during the semester, they of course get pets, even though they're not supposed to have them in dorms, but you know how it is. And if they get small pets who they can't take with them, some people will unfortunately decide to release them, even though that is a terrible fate, especially for domestic rodents where their domestication has pretty much removed the instincts they use to survive in the wild, and they also don't have any experience with foraging and knowing what foods not to eat and what to eat and not to approach humans and stuff like that. In general, it's just a terrible thing to do. You know, there are much better options than releasing your pet rat or really any pet into the wild. So please don't ever think that's your only option. There are so many other options. And as the lady who first reported him found, I mean, she didn't have any rats, but she was able to just do a quick Google search and find rat groups in her area to find out if he was domestic and needed help. And that connected her with a group of people who love domestic rats and, you know, are willing to help them. So there are definitely other options out there if you are willing to find them. And big kudos to her for reaching out and finding a group that could help him. Anyways, as far as this little guy's time with me, I will be rehoming him after a few weeks just to make sure that he doesn't have any health or behavior issues, but after that I will be rehoming him to someone with males. And if you are in South Virginia and you would like to add him to your group, when the time comes I will be making a post about it, and anyone who is interested and in the area can apply. And when I say apply, I mean just talk to me briefly about your setup and your rats and your experience with intros and stuff like that. I just want to make sure he goes to a good home with a good setup. So, you know, it's just going to be like your typical adopting out process. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Right now he is a pretty happy little rat. He's running around. He's very good with handling, and he is already learning some tricks because I just can't help myself. I guess finally I want to note that he is about 1.5 years old, I'd say. So definitely full grown and on the older side, or I guess I should say mid to old side, because he's not really that old yet. So as you can see here, he is taking a little bit of a nap. So I'm going to wrap this up. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed meeting Meatball. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. And I hope you expect to see more of him because I plan to do a few more videos on Meatball before he goes to his new home. Bye!